Dang, so I get to have my rosebud thorn um on camera on record. Okay, I can't think. Okay, so I would say my rose is I just finished a paper that I was procrastinating for like 5 days, which is good. My bud is I'm very excited to get my COVID vaccine on Friday. And my thorn is that I have to go to work right after. And I have a feeling that that my body's not gonna react well to the vaccine. So I'm not looking forward to having to go to work right after and then my body not doing okay. That's it.
Like your first shot.
It's the Johnson and Johnson. Yeah. So it's gonna hurt, but it's okay.
I
I can go next. Oh, sorry. Okay, okay. So my rose for this week is I have like not much homework. My thorn would be standardized tests are coming up very soon. Um, and my bud would just be that school's ending pretty soon. So that's fun.
Jefferson, do you want to go?
Sure. Rose. I guess it's almost summer. I don't know.
Bud.
What is my rose? I went grocery shopping today. It made me happy.
Awesome.
Bud. Looking forward to the weekend. Thorn. I just messed up cooking my dinner, so now I'm eating some crap.
Nice. Okay, so today, as you guys know, we're talking about like human nature and like what we are like inherently, if that makes sense. So before we talk about it, as usual, what are people's initial thoughts on all of this?
Like if we have it?
I guess like is there human nature is also a good question, but I was more asking like I feel like a lot of people think we're either like good or bad inherently.
Oh. I am of the opinion that we do have a nature, and I don't know, like it's pretty complex, obviously, but I think it came from the fact that we're like pack animals or whatever you call those.
Yeah.
You have a society or like those type of things.
I think we're always selfish, but that's not necessarily always like a bad thing. Like you can help someone because you're like selfish and like you want to feel good about helping somebody, but that's like not bad necessarily.
Why?
Because you did something like good for someone else.
So is it that the action was good? Or is it that the consequence is good? Or is it that the intention is good?
The consequences.
Sure.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like that's hard to say.
What's
But
hard
I
to
guess
say?
okay. So my thinking is just like if you judge actions based on like what the consequences are, then like what if you do something good or bad by accident? and then it leads to certain consequences. I feel like that doesn't mean your action is good. Okay. So what are you thinking? Okay, anybody else have any other thoughts? I think Angie would think that we're inherently bad.
No, I think we're inherently neutral. But
Okay.
why do you say that I think that I would say that they're bad?
Sorry. Wait, Angie, you have to explain yourself now.
Okay, I just think I think I would agree with Teddy to a certain extent about like people being inherently selfish, and that it's not really related to like being good or bad, even though selfishness is like its connotation is usually negative.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know, I would think that we're neutral because like personally I usually just don't think that human beings I don't think that human nature exists. Yeah, I guess is
Okay.
my take, because like I don't think we would be anything without influence from our environment, right? So like inherently we're nothing, but it is how we grow up that makes us either good or bad or whatever. Like it's all like external forces.
So what about like genetics? Like obviously there's no gene that's gonna be like, oh, you're a good person or not, but like we're all like kind of similar in genetics, right? So do you think that plays a role at all?
Um I just can't see how like honestly I don't think it plays a role, at least right now. Like I haven't really thought about like the genetic aspect of humans to like form an actual opinion about it. But right now I'm gonna say no. I don't think that it plays that much of a role.
Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is like, um, I think a lot of people might agree that we think that we're like inherently selfish, and that's like part of our biology or like part of what we inherit when we like through our genetics, right? So like that must be part of our genetics. Does that make sense?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because I did agree. Yeah, I did bring that up about like selfishness, but I would think that like in an I don't know if I want to say like in an evolutionary sense, but like it's just like selfishness for survival, right?
Yeah.
Like we just do our own thing. So like I don't think that that's inherently good or evil either.
Okay, that's fair.
I would say I agree with you. Yeah.
So do you think that we are like born with any like moral like tendencies though? Like
I think a good way to say it would be, well, first of all, you can count on everyone to take care of themselves first, at least like most basically, right? I guess like taking it to the extreme, if someone else was starving and you were starving too, you wouldn't hand them food if you happen to have it. Like I'm sure you would take some for yourself. You wouldn't give it all away first. Right. But then I guess there's like a spectrum of if you're really selfless or you're really selfish.
Yeah.
That kind of goes away from human nature because that doesn't really, because like I guess we're unique, right? We have a consciousness, so we can think above instincts. But I think it's plain and simple or obvious that we do have a base of instincts, and whether or not we can think above that or not, I guess is the question.
So do you think that like thinking will always lead to like moral behavior then?
Lead to moral behavior? Sorry, I can't really hear.
Yeah, like we need to like think to be like better, right? So do you think that like our ability to think about things consciously like makes us moral?
Well, isn't morality relative?
Yes.
So then what is better? When you said that, there's no better.
I guess based on like whatever your definition is, like we're gonna talk more about different morality stuff, but like
Oh. I don't know. That's a good question.
I feel like I would hope that us being able to be conscious would lead us to do more moral things. But I think really it just like gives us like options, whereas like other animals don't have to worry about morality because they don't have a choice really, right? But like in theory we have a choice because of our consciousness, and I don't think that necessarily would lead us to do whatever the right thing is, at least in my opinion of what is right.
Yeah, I would agree with Lucia on this.
Cool. So, does anybody have any thoughts about like why people might commit crimes then? I feel like a lot of people use how bad people are as evidence of us being like inherently evil. So, like, why do people commit crime? Like, what is like the sole cause? I guess there doesn't have to be one cause, but like, what is the most important cause?
Like necessity. Oh,
Oh, you go, Yara. You go.
I was just gonna say like maybe like necessity, like with robbing. It isn't always like you don't have to rob a store, but that could possibly contribute.
Okay, that's a good point.
I think it is disparity because you see more crime in cities than you do in rural towns. And that's because if everyone has the same as you, who are you going to rob? What do you get from robbing them? You're the same as everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's like a small town, like where are you going to go?
So, like,
That's true.
yeah, it was just
Zoo made a good point. Zoo said that crimes need not be like robbing someone. It could just be spiteful anger, like attacks, right? Because you're angry.
yeah. I guess like what is like the social pressure?
I don't know.
Okay, we will talk about some theories that people have about it. Okay, so there are like a lot of theories on human nature, so we're not going to talk about like everything that everyone has ever thought of, but broadly speaking, we have conformity, nonconformity, and the learning perspective. So conformist people think that we're basically good and that all people want to live to their fullest potential, whereas nonconformist people say that we are undisciplined and that we require laws to like keep us in check, whereas the learning perspective is like, oh my god. We are born neutral, and then like everything we do is just something that's learned. So does anybody have any thoughts about this?
I'll start off by saying I just disagree entirely with non-conformity.
Okay, that's interesting. Why?
Because who created the rules? The people that wanted the rules, which is the people who live in society, right? I guess remove yourself from cities and go back, I don't know, let's just say like 12,000 years when you're just starting, right? It took people who wanted the rules to make the rules, which means they're not undisciplined.
What about the word of God?
What do you mean by that?
No, that was, I don't know. I don't know why I
Like
just said
God
that, but
says
I
it?
was literally, I had a whole conversation with a bunch of people on campus about this. It wasn't much of a conversation, it was more like an argument, but it was like, they were like, I forgot what they said, but they were just talking about like, are morals really like a thing? And I was like, no, because like it's relative, and he was like, what about the gospel?
I see.
Yeah.
I've had my fair share of those discussions with people.
It's just,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah, I just think it's weird to say that, because who does the controlling? It's other people who don't want to be inflicted by whatever you're doing. Right?
I kind of feel like the fact that some people want rules is not a good argument for why we're not undisciplined.
But by and large, more people want rules than not. That's why we've evolved from individual hunter and gatherers to where we are. Is that not true?
No, I'm not
right?
That per se.
Oh.
Like, couldn't you argue that we want rules because we are somehow aware that other humans are undisciplined creatures? Like, the one person emerges who thinks they're good and they try to live that to their full potential. They're like, okay, let me make some rules because every other human is bad. Well, I don't know. I feel like rules just aren't a sufficient excuse for.
I guess.
Because, like, in a way.
But again, like if no one agrees to the rules, then it doesn't exist, right? Which means people are saying, I will hold myself responsible to this. Oh, you like that too. Let's agree.
You don't have to agree
to I guess.
Be punished by it.
What do you mean?
Like, if I say I disagree that it should be illegal to murder somebody, and I go murder somebody, I will be charged with murder.
Could you guys like move the microphone closer?
Yeah, I'll try to make the microphone more sensitive.
Because I couldn't hear anything.
I think what Teddy was saying was like, it's illegal, like the law says that it's illegal to kill someone, but you can kill someone, you just can't get caught, right? Is that what you were saying? Like, you can just like not follow the rules. I mean, I barely heard you guys too, but
I was was saying, Eli said that like everyone agreed that like these laws, which is why they exist. But I'm saying like that if you don't have to agree with the law for it to apply to you.
Yeah, like we're born into the rules pretty much. So like you follow, like people follow rules a lot of the time just because they like don't want the punishment that follows. Right? It's not like they're like, "Oh, I agree with this moral principle all the time." There's also
Yes. I see what you guys are saying.
what did you say?
I just said like I propose some kind of scenario where not everyone has the same human nature. Let's just like suppose one person, or let's just suppose one
Okay,
person
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to create rules because they knew everyone else was undisciplined.
Yeah, and I feel like someone wanting to make rules doesn't like mean they're a good person necessarily either. Like people can agree to like the social contract and stuff, like knowing that they're undisciplined because people like need that like self-driven motivation to like do whatever is will be good for them in the long run. It's not like people are agreeing to not murder each other because they like really think it's wrong to murder people. They're just like, I don't want to get murdered back. That makes sense.
Mm. I kind of feel my opinion switching.
Yeah, I kind of think about it like almost like game theory, although not really. Like
I know what you mean.
you benefit less from the rule being present
Yeah.
than it not being present at all, but at least you do not have your property destroyed.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to say that the world wants to murder people, but like I think non-conformity kind of compelling just because like I don't know. I feel like when people can get away with it, they do want to break the rules a lot of
Hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like if in like a no rule system, there would just be chaos really.
So would we break all rules or just the ones that I don't know? I feel like a normal human being, even under nonconformity, we might just all kind of agree that okay, murder is bad.
Yeah, so like maybe there are certain
Yeah.
things that are like universal.
If we like suddenly didn't have a government, yeah, sure, we wouldn't pay taxes, we'd speed, but I don't think we just go around to.
Yeah. But like also there are a lot of things that like other societies accept and like
Yeah.
ours doesn't and then it like cannibalism or like incest or et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like
Okay, so it looks like we can't exactly cross that one off the list, but is there anyone else that other people find too crazy?
I think
Like, does anyone completely disagree with learning? Or
I think learning is like
you go.
the like everyone can agree that a lot of our behaviors and beliefs are learned, so I don't really think we can completely throw it out the window. But like I feel like conformity is not not true. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Like, I don't really see how people are inherently good. Like, why would we? I don't know. Like, we wouldn't need any rules if everybody was inherently good, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Unless they are taught to be bad. Like, I don't think we really teach that. But we try not to. I think in like the last discussion, I think it was Juliana talking about like how like people like helping with is like saying that like we all are able to buy helping people. I feel like it's
I don't know why, but I can't really hear you guys.
Oh, here, let me just look up how to increase noise sensitivity.
Wait, so did no one hear anything I just said, or?
Not really. I think you guys need to invest in a Blue Yeti.
Might need my computer. It's fine. Yeah, maybe it did something. There we go. You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, that's a lot
Yes.
better.
Okay.
What did you do?
It was just my computer settings. I don't know. My computer just like it does things where I like can't control the sound like in my ear. Wait, can you still hear me?
Yes,
Okay. Why does
it's
it?
a lot better.
What about now?
Can you not hear us?
No, I
hear you.
can't.
Yes.
But every time you talk louder, it like decreases my mic.
Cuts you off.
No, it just like keeps going up. You guys see
Wait,
that, right?
what
Yeah.
if you turn this off? Is it?
Uh-oh.
Hey,
I think that's why your computer auto adjusts,
yeah.
Why the?
because like it hears itself. Is that what's happening? Is it hearing itself?
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck? Okay, well, let me know if it starts being too quiet again.
We'll just raise our voices, I guess.
What was I saying?
Julia talking about how we yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like it's not true that people are that fulfilled by helping people.
By helping people?
Yeah, because like Juliana was talking about how like I don't really remember what context we were talking about it, but she said like a lot of people are like super fulfilled when they help people, so that's like evidence of like how that might be the meaning of life or whatever.
We were talking about existentialism and how you find your own meaning.
Yeah.
So she said some people can just make that their meaning.
Which I'm not rejecting that idea. It's
Yeah.
more like I don't think it's like an inherent thing for us to want. I mean, I guess we like helping people because then it means we'll probably get help back in the future, but and it does fulfill a lot of people to help other people, but I'm not sure that that's like a widespread enough phenomena for us to say that it's like an inherent thing. I don't know. I feel like I've come across enough people in my life to feel like not a lot of people like helping people.
Yeah.
This is kind of, I don't know, making me lean toward the learning perspective. Just because, I don't know, I can think of some people who enjoy helping others, but they have to be raised that way, in a sense. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like having siblings helps with that, maybe. Or there's just like so many factors. I think it's genetics plus nurture that like kind of go
Yeah.
together.
I guess though, do you think there's like enough variability in our genetics to like say that, oh, everybody is all humans? We can't like make a statement about all humans at all.
I don't know. I feel like right when a baby is born,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they have like such a distinct personality that it's like okay, this is an individual thing. It's not really like DNA per se. It's just like, oh, this really tiny gene or something. Like
Mm-hmm.
this really tiny, I don't know, environmental thing. Oh, your mom just took different vitamins when she was pregnant or something, you know? I like it's pretty hard to pinpoint what it is. But I definitely think you can have two twins raised in the exact same way who turn out pretty different. But I do
Yes.
not have evidence to back that up.
Yeah. So with this slide, with like why people commit crime, there's this thing called strain theory, and it says like crime occurs when there is a discrepancy. Like you can read the slide. So like the availability of the means of reaching these goals is what causes people to be like, I must commit crime. Kind of like what we were talking about before. So yeah.
Hmm.
But with non-conformity, it's like crime and delinquency are just like a thing that humans will do no matter what. So they occur especially when the people that are committing the crimes feel like they are not under the control of the rules that exist. Which I don't know. I think this theory is pretty.
Yeah.
This is very compelling to me.
I don't like the word antisocial.
I think like antisocial doesn't mean like, oh, I don't like talking to people. It's more like think a sociopath, like someone who doesn't do normal social things, like being nice to other people or like being empathetic.
It's kind of quiet again.
Okay.
Maybe we just have to speak up.
I just thought I would stop you there, you know.
Yeah. Wait, you can hear me now, right?
Wait, talk again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but I think it's not any louder. Like it's only louder because you're closer.
See, this green bar makes it look like I'm talking pretty loud. It's been up pretty high. I don't know. Okay, well, I guess we'll just keep doing the meeting like this. I'll keep my settings open so I can adjust it if I have to. But I was just saying, like, I feel like social control theory is a pretty like good theory for why crime happens. I think I don't know, if someone's ties to the conventional order are really strong, then they wouldn't be compelled to commit any crimes, right? Even if they.
What does that mean?
So, like, for example, like, let's say you have, yeah. So, like, in your household, for example, like, if you think, or if the kids don't feel like their parents have control over them because they're like not, I don't know, like the rules have not been like established well, etc., or they feel like they don't like owe their parents anything, then like those kids would be more likely to be bad because they don't feel like they have to.
Hmm. But what if like the conventional order? That's just basically like society and what it's okay to do, right? That's what conventional order is.
Yeah. And
Like what if society promotes crime and stuff?
then if the people in the society are or like have strong ties to the conventional order, then you would predict that they would do the things that the conventional order is like encouraging.
But it says crime and delinquency occur when they're non. So you get crime both ways.
Oh, if the society
You get that.
Then it's not crime. Yeah. Like crime is defined by the society. So like in societies where they allow incest, they're not gonna like it's not a crime because you won't get punished for it. Does that make sense?
See, like if we talk, so are we going to talk about it in a way of what's a written law versus like public sentiment? Like smoking weed is illegal in some states, but yet the conventional order, I'd say I would define the conventional order around marijuana use as it's like okay. So I don't understand the definition. Is that
I think let's just go with the conventional order being written law, because I think
okay?
why people like might be more willing to smoke weed is because that their ties to the conventional order are weak, right?
See,
Does anyone
okay.
see any like holes in this theory that you want to address?
Well, I guess not when you define it like that.
Do you hear us better, by the way?
I think it's because you guys are talking louder.
I think
I mean,
that-
I'm only speaking for myself, but I think silence is agreement with everyone else.
Oh,
I think that's definitely whatever this book is. A Zoom thing.
okay, and then with the learning perspective, it says that like all people are born neutral, right? Like we talked about. So some theories that go along with this in terms of crime is like social learning theory. So we just like imitate what we've seen before, which is like perfect always. And differential association theory, which is that we learn criminal behavior and then it just like it's not like necessarily because we are good or bad. It's more like, oh, we learned to do that, so we're gonna keep doing it.
Let's see.
are we defining
After hearing about it, I feel like it's all like it just. Oh, you speak. You go.
I'm gonna say like I feel like there's like a very wide range of criminal behavior and like it's hard to lump one thing. Like I feel like jaywalking is done for very different reasons than like serial killing.
Is it though?
Yes.
Like obviously, like some of it has to do with the individual, but like I don't know.
Like I feel like you would like learn jaywalking just by like watching like a bunch of other people jaywalking and feel like, oh, it's fine if I just jaywalk.
Yeah.
But then like you don't go around like serial killing people unless you're like very disturbed, right?
Wait, but like what if everybody in your family and your community were serial killers? And like why would you not also do that?
What benefit
Well, let's say they have a reason. I feel like most serial killers have a reason. So
what their reason is their reason.
I don't know. Any other thoughts?
No.
Yeah, I just really dislike the differential association theory. Just, I think, because it's a little bit too like reductive, maybe. It seems like too simple.
I guess for differential association theory, like by this theory, then there wouldn't be any serial killers. I feel like serial killers don't like talk with each other and like
Okay.
Hmm.
I think learning though is still like a pretty important part of crime.
Yeah, I would agree. But I don't think that it's just like the only factor in crime, especially severe crime.
I
Mhm.
think the issue that I take with that differential association theory is like the statement that it's not a result of emotional disturbance, mental illness, or inequalities. These can make you more susceptible to learning certain things.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
I think these theories were like really big when everyone was like first getting into like behavioral psychology and thinking like, oh, well, if you can learn this, then this must mean that like everything we do is learned. Whereas like now we know that that's like that like can't be true, right? Okay, so it's more like are things that are shaped by values, principles, purpose that like are a result of like thinking really hard about it. So if you remember, we talked about like Sartre or Sartre, however you want to say it, and like how he thought that you're acting in bad faith if you get your morals or like ethics from some other source other than yourself. So morality is kind of like a shortcut, if that makes sense. So like you can get your morals from a religion, a community, a culture. You just accept that it's something that you were gonna live by, even though you haven't thought about why it's wrong or why it's correct. And then law is like a super shortcut that we just like have because we need to keep the peace, but still let people live according to their own ethics. So those two questions at the bottom, how do ethics relate to human nature and does our nature excuse any bad behavior?
For the second one, I guess maybe like if you think about a justified crime, like sometimes you hear someone stole from someone else, but it's because, I don't know, their house burned down and no one would give them food, right? So then they need food.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, a mom would steal food for her baby, I guess, if that was the family. And then I guess in that scenario, a lot of people, I think it's safe to say by and large, we'd say that's excusable.
Mhm. I feel like I do this every meeting, like tie this to, like free will. If we don't have any free will, then isn't everything excusable?
why
That's the way to go.
this is why the free will question is so hard to answer.
Yeah.
Because you're tempted to say, yeah, we don't have it. It has so many other implications. I think like the example of the necessity or the person stealing food because they don't have any is kind of a mild example, and I don't think necessarily reflects the nature of the person rather than just their circumstance. Um, I wouldn't say nature excuses any bad behavior, more like it explains it, and then it's up to the society to determine whether this is a negligible crime. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I don't know if this is what Tia said because again I couldn't really hear her, but I guess technically since all of our actions are natural, then yes, our nature would excuse any bad behavior, but it just depends on like how other people see it, if it's excusable or otherwise. So like it's not nature that's like basing its judgment that like I don't know how to word it. I don't know if it's I don't know if I want to think about it as like nature basing its your or nature basing your oh my god. I just my brain I forgot what I was gonna say. But
That's
I think it's more social or more like extrinsic.
If I were to like try to address that first question, I would say like the extent to which you follow whatever your ethics dictate is related to your human nature. Because we all know what we should do, but not all of us will follow through with what we should do. You know, I don't think people have different answers to what should I do. More so, like different answers to whether they're gonna do it or not.
You think so?
Maybe.
I disagree.
But like, what about with like pro-choice versus pro-life people?
That's what I was gonna say. Like a lot of political ideas are like based on ethics, and we all have different ideas like about stuff.
Yeah.
So none of us really know what is right and what is wrong.
Is that really human nature though, or just socialization? You're like,
I think I feel like political beliefs are,
yeah,
or at least in the current climate, they feel very socialized. But I don't know. I think some people are actually using their ethics to come up with ones there.
Can you repeat the last thing that you just said, Lucia?
Like I feel like some people, like a lot of people that have really strong opinions on like political issues, do actually like try to use their ethics to solve these problems. Just where it gets fuzzy is like everybody to a certain extent gets like morals from other sources, and like we can't really say like, oh, certain sources are okay while others aren't. Like if someone wants to get their morals from the Bible or the church they go to, we can't say like, oh, that's not as valid as like getting your morals from your family, for example.
well, even if it's all valid, would you say that's still human nature? That's where I'm like kind of not understanding where this question is going.
I wasn't really I wasn't saying that
Oh, okay.
any of these things are human nature. I was just
Yeah.
saying like,
Also, how do we know that these people believe what they preach? Because back in the day when I went down the what is it called, the right wing pipeline or whatever, I was like a hardcore like I was just essentially like not a I was like I don't know how to say this without like I would say some like dumb stuff or like talk about like I don't know like what does the alt right talk about?
We get it. We get what you're saying.
Just like anti-feminist rhetoric, you know, freaking homophobia and everything. But I never actually believed what I was saying. I was just like, yeah.
yeah, but like it's different. Like you saying all that stuff online is different from like you voting on it or like you making like other decisions based on like those values. Like I don't know. I feel
But
like
regardless, it was
What about
still like
like,
a belief. Oh, go ahead, Eli.
I was just gonna say, what about like the TV? I don't know what they're called, the TV preachers that have like millions of people in their quote church. You know, like they're on TV every Sunday, and they make like millions of dollars.
Well,
And
clear.
they say like donate, help God, and then they buy $40 million jets.
Yeah.
And when someone, I just remember a video, a guy walks up to the guy, he's like, "Why do you have a jet? Did God tell you to buy this jet?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to answer your question. I don't want to answer your question." So he's like preaching what's in the Bible, and then he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Was it that creepy like lizard dude? I forgot his name. He like
I'm
predicted
not,
the
he kind
rapture.
of looks like a creepy wizard dude, but I don't know if it's
Yep,
the same
that's him.
guy. They all kind of look
He
the same.
has he has insanely blue eyes. I think it was the Inside Edition. He's like
Yes.
crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like you can never really know like what these people are believing because they could just be doing it. Like the reason why I was so like, yeah, Steven Crowder, whatever, like I hate libs was just to trigger the libs. You know, like I never actually cared about or I never actually believed in what I was saying or what other people were saying, but that's just the ideology that I decided to follow for some reason, you know?
Yeah.
So like I don't even think that we can confidently say that people base their political ideas on ethics.
Well, I don't think they do. Like most people don't think about ethics when they make decisions, but like I think people like know what they believe, but like the source of those beliefs doesn't really matter to them because like they believe what they're gonna believe. And also I feel like it doesn't matter what we think they believe, like who cares what that priest is doing or whatever, because like he knows what his ethics are, like he's making his own decisions based on like what values and principles that he holds, so like it doesn't matter what our interpretation of it is. Like if his like followers or whatever want to think that it's because he values God, then like who cares? That's just whatever they want to think also.
So you don't think the intention matters in this case? Like
What do you
behind
mean?
his
Wait.
his whatever.
I mean, well, it's not like we're gonna punish him
Yeah,
either
yeah.
way, right? But like, sure, I think I can say that what he's doing is wrong, but like he's acting on his own moral code, right? And if he wants to ignore his own moral code, that's also his decision. And I feel like I don't know, I just don't see how it's like relevant that like what he's doing seems to contradict what he preaches, because like that's also probably his intention as well, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So then, I guess to clear it up, someone who's peer pressured into doing something in the moment, that's where it'd be truly like they acted in a way that's against their ethics,
Yeah.
right?
If they originally didn't want to, but then they did.
I see what you're saying. So like deep down, they know what they're doing, and it's only when other people get stuck at the facade that we. Yeah, I'm kind of missing the so what when we get to that point. Like, I don't get what you're saying about stuff.
I think this was like kind of a tangent. I don't really know what we're talking about anymore.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think my point is like we all do things that don't go by our moral codes all the time, and like some people might do that more often than others, but like it's not like really our business to say like, oh, you're a hypocrite, because like they know what they're doing. I feel like.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But they are like that's what a hypocrite is. It's like when you say you're going to do one thing and then you do another, even if you like knew that you were already going to do the
Yeah.
other thing.
I guess I mean that we shouldn't like. I don't know.
I guess isn't it all just about like you feel betrayed because they said they would do something and then they did the other?
Yeah.
Which I guess implies that they knew that they were going to do the other thing anyways.
Yeah.
Or they were okay with doing the other thing anyways.
it's just like us getting mad about it isn't going to change anything.
Well, we get mad because like they broke, or we thought we could trust them, and then we can't trust them.
Yeah, and I don't think like those feelings are like invalid or anything.
Oh, but then what's the? I mean, I missed the so what? I guess maybe I can't hear.
It's just the
No, there's like
tangent.
there's like no so what. I'm just like saying that I think people that act
It's valid.
guy are just like they like know what they're doing. So like there's no point in us like trying to point it out to him because it's like that is his intention. Like I don't know.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so there are like a bunch of branches of ethics, so we're not going to talk about all of them, but like here are like the main three that get talked about a lot. So these are like all within what we call normative ethics, which means that there's like one criteria that we should follow all the time. And I think
Wait, you just copy and pasted these from the. Wait, why are they the same?
oh my god, they are the same. Wait, they're not
I was so confused.
description of yeah. Okay, so with virtue theories, we have like with people like Aristotle, it's like what kind of person do I want to be and what virtues bring me closer to the goal. So like you can just like come up with a list of like whatever values you hold, and then you just like every time you have to make a decision, you're supposed to be like, okay, does this align with my virtues and vices? And then make a decision from there. Whereas duty theories are more like what are my ethical principles telling me to do in a way that's like it's like slightly different than virtue ethics in the way that it's like what do I owe, if that makes sense. So you have to like avoid, for example, you could say that a duty you have is to avoid wronging other people, or a duty you have is to treat people as equals. Then with consequentialist ethics, it's like what are my actions having, what impact are my actions having. So like we talked about this earlier with like what it means to like value what the consequence of your action is, like what Teddy was talking about before. So we have three types of things underneath the consequentialist ethics. We have ethical egoism, altruism, and then utilitarianism. So you guys can read those descriptions, but tell me what you think.
And utilitarianism.
Okay.
Are you saying among these or just like among the whole three branches?
From like all
Okay.
of these two,
Okay.
because like you can't just
Yeah.
oh, I guess you can, but like they don't like grade.
I agree with whatever Teddy said.
Okay.
Utilitarianism.
I think definitely next semester we should just have a whole meeting on utilitarianism, because I feel like so many people are so quick to accept it, and I think I need to think more about like
What's a counter example?
we yeah, sure, trolley problem.
What?
The trolley problem.
The trolley problem.
It's like
But that already breaks it.
Well,
It's not unfavorable to the person who died. That's unfavorable, so it's not everyone, which means
well then
that's not a utilitarian act.
Well, then in real life, there are no utilitarian acts if you think about it that way. I think like
What?
Wait,
That's not true.
what did you say? in
you
regards to
can't
the
have an
trolley
action
problem?
that's favorable for everybody all the time.
Yes, you can. If I'm a farmer and this guy makes doors and I want a door and he wants beans, we'll trade. That's why we trade. And then it's good for everyone.
Wait, I'm confused. I thought utilitarianism was like best for the most amount of people, not everyone.
That is what it means. It's like more favorable
It says
than,
everyone.
so it's like a balance between the two. So like your actions will be unfavorable to someone in a lot of scenarios. So like with the trolley problem, if you killed one person versus 5, like obviously it is more unfavorable for the person that dies, but in a utilitarian standpoint, you would just kill that one person versus like the 5
Yeah, I
Which-
feel like that makes sense though.
is the correct like answer, but yeah.
No, I feel like that it still works. It still works because if there's like a baby and 5 old people, the baby has a lot more to give to everyone than the 5 old people, right? So then to everyone, isn't it better for the baby to live versus the 5 old people? If we're talking about the benefits to society, is that what it's about now? Not everyone?
Okay, I don't. Yeah, we're gonna have a whole meeting on this because I like need to
Okay.
like address this. But like, I think the intention with the trolley problem is that like it's hard to come up with an answer, and there's like no like correct solution to it anyway. So like, sure, you can say, okay, I'm a utilitarian, so I'm going to say this. But like, I think like anyone can somehow come up with a scenario similar to the trolley problem that will make you think that you wouldn't pick the the choice I pick better. Actually, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I don't get how it's so confusing that the trolley problem doesn't have an answer when morals are relative. Of course it's not going to have an answer if everyone has a different answer and it's right.
That's why it's so famous, right? Because everyone has a different take.
Yeah, the point is that like there's not one answer.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's a correct answer. Right?
Oh.
Just like whatever we say, right and wrong.
Like
is-
you're gonna have an easy intuition right now about killing the person instead of the 5. But if we said like a different scenario, like I don't know, suppose someone tapes a bomb to a little kid who's about to enter a bus. You take that kid and just like throw them off the bridge or something, like killing them to save everyone on the bus, or do you not?
See.
Yeah, it's just like there's so
It's-
many
yeah.
conditions that make it harder.
Okay, I'm just gonna save all my opinions for that discussion because I feel like there is a. But does anyone think any of the other kinds of ethics are?
I like virtue ethics for some reason. It was really appealing to me.
I was about to
Um,
because even though, like I said, I'm not an essentialist last time, which is like very associated with Aristotle, I am like drawn to virtue ethics. I don't know.
I was just gonna say because I personally am like a bit of an attention whore, and so I kind of just do things to make myself either feel good or for other people to make me feel good.
Is that not utilitarian?
So like, huh? What did you say?
Is that virtue ethics?
Yeah.
So your virtue.
What kind of person do I want to be? Yeah, I want to be a cool person. So I'm gonna do what it takes to be.
But like, if you were to write down a list of things you want for yourself, your virtue would be getting attention. I feel like that's not true, Andy.
I don't know how to save myself from this.
Like
I
I
don't know.
feel like you might write things like you want people to like. I don't know. Like,
You might want respect, like
yeah.
with that attention. If people are just looking at you because you're like failing or something, that's
But,
not
like,
really pleasant.
I don't know. I feel like this isn't really about like how you want other people to perceive you anyway. So like, it's more like who do you want to actually be, not like who you are perceived as. Like, because you can
Well,
like.
Doesn't it make it easier for people to perceive you a certain way if you are that person?
I mean, yes, obviously, but like in theory, you would want to be a wise and benevolent person, even if like people didn't perceive you as such, because you want to be those virtues, or have those virtues.
Yeah, but isn't that just like, I don't know, to me, whenever I think of myself as a good person, that gives me enough like validation even for myself. So like I don't know if I'm doing it for the purpose of being an attention whore, but for myself. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
virtues would.
It's just I don't know why people would inherently want to be virtuous if it's not to feel good about themselves.
You can feel good about yourself without having other people like assess you. It's like achieving.
I would agree with that, yes.
And I think you feel good about yourself implies that you want to be that kind of person. So like if you feel like you did something benevolent, you're like that makes you feel good because that's the kind of person you want to be. So therefore those are your virtues. It's not like, does that make sense?
Yes. So like yeah, I get it. Because it's like you
Oh, I want to feel good. Like,
yeah. It's like I mean, I guess it's fine if it's like inherently selfish, right? Because you just want to feel good about yourself so you become that person. Because that makes you a better person.
yeah, it's not about what your intentions are when doing things or trying to become that person. It's more like you're gonna do it because that's your code of ethics. And like if you were successful, then you will feel good about yourself.
That would be kind of compatible with each other, like virtue ethics and, for example, like ethical altruism or something, where it's like, I want to be the kind of person so courageous, they're going to take on this task, bring so much happiness and pleasure to the world. You know?
I think maybe like virtue ethics is more like for you focus and like, oh, if I am courageous, then that's me being virtuous versus like ethical altruism is more like you like that the or you think that what makes an action ethical is that the consequence helps a lot of people. I feel like I think ethical altruism is kind of stupid. Like, why are you removing the agent from the situation? They're also a person, like it like implies that it's more altruistic to be mean to yourself and nice to everyone else versus just being nice to everybody else, including yourself.
I mean, I guess, like, yeah, maybe kind of like we thought there is no true altruism whenever we had our altruism topic.
Mm-hmm.
If you want it to be good to everyone except yourself because you're some kind of like human sacrifice or a martyr or something, then I assumed as kind of utilitarian because you derive some kind of selfish satisfaction from having that legacy or something. So
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like in essence, ethical altruism like can't be real in
Yeah.
practice because like you wanting to have those ethics or that code of ethics in the first place is like implying that it is favorable to you in some sense. I don't know. I just think it's stupid. to, Like, oh, selfish. Because it can be prohibited. Does anyone think ethical egoism is?
No,
Why not?
because if I am an athlete and I'm second place to this guy, I'll just poison him. And then it's moral because then I would win. And I want to win.
Well, we're always saying how like everybody has their own code of ethics.
What'd you say? My internet is not good.
Like we're always saying how everybody has a different ethic, right? So this is like still a stance that someone can take.
Again, I can't. I didn't hear anything you said.
here, let's maybe we can just try typing it in the chat. You wanna go ahead?
It might not be the volume, but like my computer, whenever the audio is coming through, like you saw my camera flickering and stuff. When the audio comes through, there's like a popping sound. And so it like cuts out every half word.
I think quite a few people today are having internet problems. I think we are also struggling because of the storm in Tennessee.
I don't know. Blame big internet. They're throttling our connection.
It's the 5G.
Is net neutrality like
Yeah, exactly. That was always so funny to me.
ever going to be on the table again?
But I don't know. It's kind of like you never see it happen. So how do you know? You don't know if it was good or bad.
It's gonna do it so slowly, you know.
That's why it's called neutrality.
I
Wow.
thought
That was
net
the
neut-
dumbest
deep
joke I've
dive.
ever.
from what I
What?
heard, isn't it like internet service providers have the power to like
Make sure-
decide what you can look at, or they can choose like because they can see what you look at. They say, I don't want you going to this website, so I'll throttle its connection. Like they're allowed to do that.
I mean, they're allowed to look at what you do anyway.
Not a lot of
Wasn't it like you have to pay for certain websites for access to them?
Yeah, it could be that as well. But like again, like how is that different than oh no, buy a subscription to Netflix? You know?
it feels kind of shady.
I see. Lucia, I see what you're saying, but there's infinite moral codes if we're gonna play that game.
Yeah, but you played that game when we were talking about the trolley. So
About what?
never mind.
I'm sorry, it's so hard. I just can't hear anything.
No, it's okay. I didn't say anything important.
No, okay. I guess I see I can piece together what you were going to say. And I'm going to say that for ethical egoism, that's just one of like the many things that don't exist and won't exist. Right?
I just feel like ethics is like just based on what makes you feel guilty. So if someone like does something that's like along the lines of ethical egoism and they don't feel guilty, then that's just their moral code. And like, what are we gonna do about it?
I see. I guess I'm hung up on ethics being society defined. Not necessarily I don't feel guilty.
I think it being
Because you can feel a lot of emotions that make you not feel guilty. Like if you're really, really, really angry at someone, you really want to do something to them, no matter how bad, and you do it, you could feel not guilty because you think they deserved it.
Sure.
You know, but then there's still
But then
some.
later, wouldn't you feel guilty
Depends.
when you like calm down a little bit?
I don't know if you really thought they
I don't
deserved it.
know.
Like if they're really such a bad dude.
I mean, I think if you don't feel guilty after, then that clearly means you violate your own moral code.
Okay.
That's true.
I mean, that does make sense. That does make sense. So I think I missed. I don't understand the definitions of ethics and morality because I still think they're the same. I didn't really get the nuance.
I don't think that nuance matters as much. That's more like
But
there's-
I'm just kind of like, in general, that's where the disconnect was. Why I was. Yeah. Okay. Announcements. Let's go.
all right. So next week, our very last meeting of the semester. So that means now I don't know what we're going to talk about next semester. So you guys should definitely leave suggestions in the Google form. And also let me know if you want to be the one presenting. Happy to.
Do what?
Let me know if you want to like lead the discussion because I am happy to.
Oh, I see. That could be
We
fun.
put the form in the chat. So if you come up with any ideas for discussion topics, put them in there. And then also like next week is like pretty much the deadline for when you can donate to the AFSP thing. So donate here and then yeah, see you next week.
See you guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.